guys, it's Nicole. Today I wanted to talk to you about vulnerability. So last week, when we were talking about creating elite teams, we talked about the need for courage and how important it is to be courageous in all that we do. So now today I wanted to look at the other side, or really the same side of courage, but a critical component to courage, which is vulnerability. And a lot of times we don't see vulnerability as part of courage. In fact, I was absolutely one of those people. I saw vulnerability as weakness, and I associated it with crying and uncomfortable emotions for a very long time. And I see that it is an intrinsic part of being courageous, because vulnerability is what allows us to be willing to fail. And it's what allows us to truly open up and not only accept others in, but also give more of ourselves, and not realizing or not knowing what we're going to get back and what the feedback is going to be. So it's really allowing ourselves to fail or to be hurt. But that's what courage is. So to truly be courageous, it's not just in a business setting, or it's not just in controlled environments. It's really being authentic with yourself. And so, for example, if you're in a relationship and it's a new relationship, it's being vulnerable and able to say, I love you first. And I got so much of this from Brene Brown. And so if you haven't followed her or watched her TED Talk or her Netflix show or read her books, I highly, highly encourage it. She has such an amazing way about her, but she tells this one story of someone who read her book and wanted to share his experience with vulnerability. And it was around that topic of saying, I love you first. And he's like, I just really want to share with you and tell you how this worked out. I was dating this girl and it was a new relationship, but I really felt this deep connection. And so I told her over dinner that I loved her. He's like, I was gonna wait until dessert. We got this chocolate lava cake. He's like, but I just couldn't wait. I was so excited. So I told it to her. And she said, her response was, well, I think you're awesome and I think we should see other people. And then she left and caught a ride home. So devastating, right? He opened himself up. He was completely vulnerable to this. And that was the reaction that he got back. Not at all what he had anticipated or even hoped for. So he goes back to his apartment. His roommates are there and they could see that he's sad and despondent. And so they're like, hey man, what happened? And he's like, I just told this girl that I loved her and she basically broke up with me. And they're like, oh, well, the way it goes is if you pull away, they follow, but if you go towards them, they're going to pull away. So, you got to pull away. And he's like, no, I really don't want to live that way. He's like, I really want to be authentic and I want to be true to myself. And it was because his roommate said that, and it triggered that, this was the right way to go. He was being true to himself by sharing his feelings for this girl, and it wasn't reciprocated, and at least he found out sooner. And so when he shared that with his buddies was like, yeah man, you're right, but and then they had a good time with it. But it's scary. It's really, really scary. And so today the message is really just recognize the opportunities where maybe you are holding back, or you're not being your true self, and you're not being fully authentic, and allow yourself to be courageous enough to be vulnerable, regardless of what the feedback is going to be. And just see how it feels, try it on, see if it fits. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And when you're ready to talk more, click the link below and let's get started with your coaching. Have an amazing day.